Guess what? Driving with Nina part whatever the heck it's called. Hey y'all! So I wasn't really sure if I was gonna share this with you guys at all, but last night I went to the emergency room. It was nothing serious. It's just an asthma attack. Well, I mean, it's kind of serious. But, yeah. Sorry. I should have covered my mouth, but I'm driving, so I only have one hand. But, I mean, I don't know, it's just kind of like the repercussions of this coughing and stuff is what happens. I feel way under the weather, but I'm on my way to college. Ooh, green light, let's go. It's just, I don't know, it's really hard, and I don't know if any of you read my blog at all. You've seen my many posts about how like invisible illnesses are still illnesses and like people like us are still valid and everything like that. And the reason why I'm such an advocate for that is because I am somebody who suffers from not one invisible illness, but many. And like, I haven't disclosed a lot of them because I don't feel like it's the world's business as to what I'm going through health-wise. But as I think about it, I'm constantly like mulling around in my brain, like what if my journey is going to help somebody else? So maybe at some point down the line I'll go through everything, but today is not that day. I mean, I value everybody and I love everybody so much and everything like that. It's just, it's really hard, and especially with me, I've spent like, ooh, that was a really bad angle. I'm so sorry, y'all. The last 4 or 5 years of my life, I've spent in and out of the hospital. Not like constantly, like kind of, but not really. Like I'm back and forth to our children's hospital, which is Helen DeVos. Super awesome. They're super great. But the hospital is an hour away from where I live. And so it's really hard going back and forth between there. And it's also really hard being diagnosed with more than one thing at once and nobody knowing what's going on. And I always get really emotional about it. And there's no really rhyme or reason except for that I'm emotionally tired. I'm physically tired too, obviously, but it's just, there are some things that are a lot harder to deal with than others. Like obviously, like I'm very open with, like I've had asthma since I was a baby. I was diagnosed like when I was born in the hospital. And it was really scary last night because it's always been really well controlled, my asthma. And last night was the first attack that I've had since I was like 5. And I wasn't even doing anything. Like I wasn't exercises or anything like that. It was just that my mom and I had went to a movie with one of our friends. And we came out of the movie and it was just that the temperature had dropped drastically while we were in there. And so I stepped outside and it was like a smack in the face and I could not breathe at all. Like oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. But I used my inhaler. I have a rescue inhaler. I used that and it still wasn't helping. And then I used it again and then I started freaking out and I was having, I started having a panic attack because I was having an asthma attack. Because this is the first time in forever and I forgot what it felt like and I didn't want to go in. My mom made me go in and then we had to get a bunch of tests done. And ultimately the doctor told me I was fine. Which seems to happen a lot lately because people can't see anything that's wrong with you or since my heart is fine and my lung x-ray looked awesome and everything like that, that I must not really be sick. And it's not doctors saying that I'm not sick. It's just that they can't find anything to prove that I am sick. If that makes sense. Like I have diagnoses. But there's nothing that they can do for me because they don't know what's causing it, how this interacts with my body, why my body is doing what it does. Because, like, recently I just started having issues with, like, pre-syncope, which is, like, fainting. But since I haven't actually passed out yet, I can't be diagnosed with syncope. But there's, like, some word for pre-syncope. But the syncope symptoms have, for me, lately been an aura. Oh my gosh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. For my migraines, which is really crazy, but it's the same thing that, like, it's not clinically tested and it's not actually a thing, so it's not a thing. But the same thing happened with my mom when she was first doing her diagnosis with migraines, that yawning wasn't an aura, it wasn't a trigger, not a trigger, but it wasn't a tell for migraine people, but now it's, like, widespread. And that was, like, 10-15 years ago. But I don't know where I'm going with this. I just kind of want to be one of those people who's an informant. I don't want everything that I'm going through to go to waste. I know I'm going through a lot, but I know I'm strong, and I want to be there for somebody who might not be as strong as I am. Or somebody who's just looking for somebody else who's going through the same type of stuff. Because honestly, coming through me, you're probably going through something that I'm going through. So then that's the other thing with all of this, is that, like, I've talked about how invisible illnesses are still illnesses, and, like, you can't really tell when somebody's really sick when they have an invisible illness. And I just wanted to put that out there. Like, I was just going to do that one small bit, but I just wanted to put that out there, that this is proof of that. Because, I mean, yeah, looking at me, I look a little tired and I keep coughing and that type of stuff. But if you look at me, I'm perfectly fine. I look perfectly fine. But my lungs are still, like, super, super tired from yesterday and not being able to breathe. And, like, just, like, my whole chest and everything like that. And, like, I still have a headache and, like, that type of stuff. So I'm proof for all you non-believers. So the funniest part about this whole ordeal is that the movie that we went to go see was 5 Feet Apart. And if you don't know what that movie is about, it's about a couple kids who have cystic fibrosis, which is another illness that has problems with your lungs. So they have they have problems breathing and that type of stuff too. So we went and saw that, and then I had my asthma attack. And then the funniest part was I have a pulmonology appointment today with at DeVos, and we weren't going to keep my appointment. But now that I had the attack, we have to keep my appointment. But I don't know, I just think it's, like, really funny, because originally that appointment was going to be completely pointless. And then it's like, good job, Nina, you made your lungs are making you work, not making you work for it, but yeah, things decide not to work to keep appointments. So yeah.